Good evening, all.
Good evening, all.
Good evening.
There's March. Have you got your special intro?
Where's your intro?
You got your intro for everyone?
Wait, before the intro, how do I see you guys?
Eh?
How do I see you? I just see me. Oh, there you are.
You're there.
You're there. You're on it.
Hello, everyone. Intro.
Yeah, we're live now, March.
We are live.
No swearing.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to AAC. It's Thursday. We're with March. Paul longer St. Paul. He's kind of gay. Oh, that wasn't it. Whoops.
That's fine. Hi, everyone. Anyway, thank you for all for joining again this evening, AAC Reefers. Thanks especially to Paul L on technical again, and welcome March back again. Thanks for joining us on UK live stream. We've got you for approximately 1 hour. Is that right, March?
Start the timer.
Because that's as long as your ADHD will let you be on. Is that right?
Good luck.
Right. Yeah, you've got to shoot off in about an hour. Is that right, March?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okie doke. Right. So anyway, we're moving on. So in a mo, we're going to go through the chat and say hi to those that have joined us again. Thank you very much for joining. But before that, we're going to go through some topics for discussion tonight. So we're going to talk to March about his travels across the world, what reefing is like in Canadian land, which I think is like a fake. Canadian land's like a fake America, isn't it? Where's he got?
No, it's just.
Where are you? Oh, look, he's snow.
Yeah.
Oh, you got snow. Oh, right.
Snow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, you never know. Right, anyway, so, yeah, we're going to find out what reefing is like in Canadian land, which is, I believe, is a bit like a sort of fake America, innit? Apparently, Trump's going to take it back off you soon anyway, and something like that I heard the other day. What you find when you're abroad, and also what plans March has for Fragbox and his Reef Casa range, if you can be sensible for long enough. Also got Paul Longhurst new project looming.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk to Paul tonight about a new tank that you haven't really done anything about, really.
We'll go into that.
And also some new products from NIOS that have obviously they're taking the UK by storm at the minute. They seem to be everywhere. Everyone's going on about these new products. And a little something else, Paul. Love to reef.
Yes, we'll have a chat maybe about that.
We'll have a chat maybe about Love to Reef.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so I think if we sort of start moving to the chat, so who's in the chat, shall we?
Yes, let's have a
look. Yeah, by the way, if you've got any questions for March in the chat, of course, put them in the chat and then we'll bring them up with March as we go. All right?
Yeah, absolutely. So first in the chat was Steve. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
Good evening to you. Are you doing well? The Norfolk Reefer. Good evening to you.
There.
Hi, Ange. Are you well?
Angela.
And we've got Joe in the chat. I don't know if he's on the road still, whether he's home.
Yeah.
Reef 216. Good evening to you. The Spiritual Reefer, liking your videos.
Yeah,
I've seen his YouTube channel.
I actually just to say, I saw a video the other day from Spiritual Reefer, and I thought it was fantastic.
It's really good.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
So go and tune into his channel on YouTube.
Yeah.
Good evening, JB. Good evening to you. Practical Reefer. Good evening to you.
Oh yeah.
Remember, everyone, if March complains, he owes us.
Oh yeah, I've seen this on the channel.
So what's that?
So how are you going to post them to the UK? If you complain tonight, that means you're going to owe UK reefers frags. You know that, didn't it? Because apparently you're not allowed to complain anymore. How did that come about, March? Why is the complaining thing? I saw it in a few videos of yours. Why, someone dug you out online for complaining all the time or something?
No, it was my New Year's resolution was to stop complaining because I live a very blessed and lucky life, and I'm not allowed to complain.
Well, I don't often hear you complain a lot, only about me.
Well, not anymore. No complaints ever.
Okay, all right then. Connor tomorrow give loads of shit about his Reef Casa stuff, and then he won't be able to complain about it. All right,
I can do that.
Yeah.
Let's see. East Coast Reefer. Hi, March. I have a work trip to Toronto in the next few months. I'll try and pop in and say hi.
Ooh,
nice.
He's in the posh bit, East Coast Reefer. You'll have to spend a bit of money on a hotel where he is in a very posh area.
Nice.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Mm. And then good evening to Queen City Reefers.
Hey.
Hi. How you doing?
What's up,
I've
guys?
watched a few videos actually. Queen City Reefs, I think.
Yeah. Over time. Excellent. Good evening, Morgan's Reef. Hold your horses on that one. I don't know if they're, maybe we've gone a bit too soon on that.
I might have shot my beans too early.
Let's see. What's this? Please be a weekend I can do.
Oh, okay.
I might suggest a date if we are going to do something, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Gills Aquarium, good evening, all.
Oh, evening.
Hiya, Liam. And then that's it for now, for people saying hello. We'll come back to the chat. What's this? If Paul gave away frags when he complains, we have no stock left.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I would have no business left.
No.
That's true.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So, right. So we'll move on then to a little bit, March, about your travel. I mean, one of the things I love about your channel, and I'm sure those people that have tuned in tonight to watch you, is your travel. I mean, that's what really makes it worth watching Fragbox TV. I mean, it's nice to have shop updates and all the rest of it, but I'm pretty certain that most people tune into your channel because obviously just how you found me and how you found a lot of other people around the world is your travel. I mean, from what you've told me as a friend, every single penny you've ever earned off of YouTube's gone back into a plane ticket just so you can get around, isn't it? I've seen you go as far as Korea. You've been Japan. You've been Indo. I think you're going Indo soon, aren't you? You're about to go to Indo. What? 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks. Yeah.
2 weeks, and you might even be going to Korea again. Is that right?
Yeah.
As well, and then what? Up to the Philippines, maybe as well.
No, not this trip, but I want to get to Philippines and Australia.
Okay. And that's the thing with you. You're. This is what I love about those films that you do is about how you call in on people. I mean, I don't know if other people saw it the other day, but you did a fantastic film at Julian Sprung's the other day. It was exactly what I was expecting. You know, my saying about it was exactly what I was expecting, but it really was, wasn't it? I mean, Julian, you couldn't have. Everything you could imagine about Julian was the case, wasn't it? It was just superb, that film that you did. But in terms of your travel, you've not. I don't believe you've done the Middle East yet, have you? You've not been out to Middle East yet, have you? No. I mean, I found that was quite interesting to me. I know Dubai would be on my fish shop tour if I was doing a fish shop tour. But in terms of the countries that you've sort of visited over the years, I know obviously you've done a lot of Europe now as well, but where would you say, what really floated your boat? I remember you getting very excited about Poland, very excited about Korea. I mean, what was the highlight for you? Where was your favourite what sticks in your memory or your mind?
I don't know if it's possible to have one because now we have 1,100 videos. Maybe 20% of those are travel videos. I think the most unexpected was Korea because it was a very impromptu, unplanned. I basically planned the whole trip the day before. It's very hard to get around. There's no Google Maps. You can't just search saltwater coral store. It was just, I ended up at one. And that guy said, okay, you got to go to this one. And then he brought me to another one. And it just ended up happening. So it was the most unexpected. I didn't expect such a big reefing scene.
Yeah. I mean, from what I remember, one of the films, you said you went to one store that resembled nothing like a store. It was a coffee shop, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was primarily a coffee shop. Yeah. It was designed to just be like a sleek, sexy, modern coffee shop. But then a 500-gallon display and an 800-gallon, he just planted beautiful displays all over it.
I think that's the one I've seen on Instagram as well. They do a lot of shoots there as well, didn't they? They have designers in there and all kinds of stuff. So it almost doubles as a studio as well. It looks absolutely superb. and also unique to your point.
It was Korea as well, March, the place that you visited where they had actually a specific sort of Red Sea aquarium branded store, wasn't it? It was just, you went to one that was just Red Sea, wasn't it, or something? But it wasn't owned by Red Sea, was it? But it was just
I don't know who owned it, but it was just a Red Sea exclusive store. It was all they did was display their models, and it was pretty cool. I've never seen it outside of there anywhere in the world. Yeah.
So Korea for you was probably one of the more one of the ones that sticks. Yeah.
That Indonesia was pretty cool because you get to really see where the corals were coming from. Up until now, everything was just ordering from an Excel sheet or photos. It was so disconnected with the process of, the guys who went out, collected it, where they were held, like everything. That was all magic to me. They just showed up at my door.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool to see how that happened. Now on this next trip, I'm going with an underwater camera. So I hope to do more diving videos, kind of like what Jake Adams was doing when he would go and then explain, this is a bottle brush acro in the Solomon Islands, and this is why it grows like this, and kind of comment on what I'm seeing, but take the whole channel underwater.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
That'd be wicked.
Yeah, that'd be
brilliant.
Yeah, because I've done the warehouses, I've done wholesalers that hold coral. Like I can only show you so many nice LPS.
Yeah.
I want to get connected a little bit more with their natural habitat.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah.
So is that actually scuba diving you're going to go? Nice.
Yeah.
So have you had to buy any different cameras for that, or is it a case you bought the casing for your existing camera?
I bought, I have a GoPro with a dive case, and then I'm thinking about getting a dive case for my large mirrorless I have a new Canon, but the case is so expensive. Like a nice case is around $3,000.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a big investment, but then it's like, it unlocks a whole new door for the channel.
Yeah, because everywhere you go, you can then see the specifics of that location, can't you? Which is quite unique as well.
I know another country you mentioned, March, once to me before that was a real eye-opener for you was Poland, wasn't it?
It's just so cool. Yeah. I would have never thought of going to Poland, but I loved it.
Yeah. There was some really good stores. And I remember one of the things you was most impressed with was a bar that had no barmaid. You had a machine in the middle of the room that you put your debit card on and beer comes out the wall, doesn't it? Is that right?
Yeah. You put your card in. And then they have all these taps, and you hold the button to pour yourself. And every millisecond that you're pouring, you're watching the price go, and then it charges your card when you leave. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it sounds like a good idea, actually, doesn't it? It's like a different way of.
It's unique,
yeah. So, so also March on the so we got in. So this year, then you've got Indonesia and Korea, yeah.
Then Orlando, Reefapalooza.
Yeah, which I hope to see you there.
I want to see Chris Meckley because I've never visited ACI, and I think you said it was worth going to check out.
You've been there.
No doubt. I know that we might be heading out towards Tampa, and he's on the outskirts of Tampa, so there might be a chance that we can all bundle together and go and see Chris and Amanda again. I mean, a lot of people they always go on about. Chris, right? And I'm sure Chris won't mind me saying this, but actually, if you ask Chris who does the majority of the work, it's Amanda. She's the one who's fragging all the time. She's the one who's got her head down and on the saw, if you know what I mean, all the time. Chris is sort of more of the front of house, if you like, but I know Amanda certainly pulls her weight from what she was telling Ange and me when we were over there. But yeah, I think you'll love it. It's sort of I never forget when I first walked onto that into that building, and there's not a great deal of security, right? Yeah, and I turned around and I said to who I was with at the time, I said, "Look, there's about $2 million worth of corals in this building," and I said, "And the security, you could push the door open, but of course over there, if you walk on someone's territory, you're not invited." That's it, and that's what Chris said. No one comes on the ground, and then. Yeah, but it's quite an interesting place because he's right by a lot of pools and lots of natural ponds and things like that. And he was telling me that when the storms come, all the clarius catfish, all the invasive catfish, walking catfish come out like a big swarm all up onto the dry land, if you know what I mean. But I think you'll love it.
Where have they got the invasive lionfish? Is that off of Florida?
The invasive lionfish are around in the Caribbean and Florida and all of that.
Yeah,
but
I've seen quite a few videos about that recently.
But in Florida, they've got loads of invasive species. They've got plecos and they've got piranha and things like that. And that was actually when we were over there the first time, I think they were trying to push a new law in March. Do you remember that? About they were going to ban all wild exotic animals in Florida. Do you remember that?
I remember hearing
like
about
that. Yeah, it was going to affect the aquarium trade too.
Oh yeah, it was serious. Yeah, because I mean there were fish breeding there for years in Florida, so all the freshwater tropicals were bred in Florida before Indonesia.
Was it the told me that they were even making it up to like Greece and stuff these days?
Yeah, I found some lionfish in Greece now as well. So yeah, the lionfish is circumtropical now. I think wherever there's a bit of warm water, we've got lionfish. So
I'm going to Denver in March as well.
What's that?
Denver.
I'm going to go to
really?
Denver. Yeah, there's a reef stock that's a show put on by Reef Builders.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
heard of it. Yeah,
I'm going to that in March, and then go and check out their studio at the same time.
Oh, what with Salim?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, nice. Bright lad he is, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got great energy.
Yeah, fantastic. And I think he's going to sort of fill Jake's shoes somewhat because he does tend to say what he thinks and not really worry too much about what he's saying, which I think is quite refreshing for a magazine, isn't it? An online magazine, you know. So.
Well, he's already done that with some of the testing.
Yeah, he's already ruffled a few feathers, shall we say, I believe, out there. Jeremy Gay was telling me. So,
I like
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Yeah. So where to after that?
In the summer, hopefully New York, and then in August, Italy.
Right, nice. Is that more of a holiday or fishy tour?
I want to visit Sice, so we're going to go check out the factory.
Yeah.
And then maybe Eheim, because they also have a factory in Italy, and then the rest of it a holiday in Sicily.
Oh, I didn't know Eheim had a factory in Italy as well. I thought it was just Germany. You've been to the German factory, haven't you? One of 5. Oh, is it really?
Wow.
Oh, I didn't realise Eheim was so large. I knew it was a big firm, but I didn't realise they had different production in different regions. But Italy's always been famous for producing pumps, haven't they? I mean, Ascol was who Hagen used to buy from. They made pumps for the aquarium industry for years, and I think that's where the Maxi Jet was made and things like that over in Italy.
Right?
Yeah. So what about Fragbox then? I noticed the other day you was having a leak, and I said to Paul earlier on about there's going to be like you're never going to move away from that shop, with it just being 5 minutes away from where you live. But I get a feeling that you're thinking about making changes in there. You've already started to make some, haven't you, down in the basement, haven't you?
Yeah, less fish, more macroalgae.
Right. You still haven't done the fish then?
No, we did very little, and now I'm going to do even less.
Really?
Yeah.
It didn't work for you?
No. When they die, it breaks my heart.
Yeah, you've always, you never really got on with the fish, have you? Is there anyone in Canada that's sort of a bit of a AAC with fish, if you know what I mean? Have you got a shop that's near you that does a lot of fish?
That's really good. There's only one. His name is Demo. And if I got to get fish, I'll go get them from him.
Right. And Pat.
And Pat's pretty good too. Yeah. Pat, I mean, like, but he's a wholesaler. Like on the retail end, I think Demo's the best. Yeah. So
that's the only sort of place. Like, so you're quite limited then on retail stores in and around Toronto, aren't you? You've, as far as I know, there's only a few of you.
No, I think we have a dozen, but they're not.
Oh, right.
Wait, how do I say this without complaining? They can't all be Fragbox.
Modesty is fine.
I know. He put a positive spin. Yeah.
But I mean, corals was always your first love anyway, wasn't it? I mean,
I love them.
Yeah. But fish, you've always had a love-hate relationship with.
yeah, love hate. Like I like them, but then when they die in my care, I feel like I am killing God's creatures. I'm creating bad karma. I'm going to come back as a fish in my next life, and I'm going to die the way I made them die.
Talking of fish, when I was over, I noticed in one of your tables you had what I had said to you at the time was a terrible damselfish, one of these big neon blue spotty damsel. You went, no, he's all right. And then I believe that I saw a video where he became an absolute twat. Am I right?
He began eating acropora. We couldn't figure out why all the acros in that tank were no polyp extension, starting to peel from the top to the bottom.
Yeah.
We couldn't figure it out. Everything was perfect, no pests. And then one day I was watching him and he was taking bites out of the millies.
Yeah, but
when we sold him, everything magically came back to life. He was a damsel, but he was acting like an angelfish.
And now you've sold him to someone else who's and they're in your shop every week buying new corals.
New SPS.
New SPS.
I sold it with a disclaimer. I said this guy eats acro.
Right. Okay. So you told them then. Well, it's live now. Everyone knows you've admitted it now. So yeah. And what happened? The other question I wanted to ask you about fish was when I was over there last time, down in your basement of your house you had a lovely little tank set up, a Reef Casa tank, and there was a pair of clownfish in there, of which you'd named Paul and Angela. Right? And at the time, when I saw this male clownfish, I thought he don't look quite right. And I said, I bet you he dies. And he did, didn't he? So Paul's dead, is that right? Yeah.
Lovely Ange.
Yeah. So Angie's now on her own, is she?
No, she passed away shortly after. She stopped eating.
Well, that's what happens, isn't it? Two lovers. She was heartbroken. I thought she was going. I thought he was going to say that you got a new man in for her.
No, we tried that.
Oh, you did try. No,
that's what killed her.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Angela.
Yeah. So what happened to Paul then?
What happened to Paul? I don't know. You tell me.
Well, he looked a little bit clamped up. He didn't look quite right, did he?
That's about right.
I lost quite a few.
Was he complaining too much? So you hit him with a mallet? Yeah.
Oh, is that complaining?
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's happening with Fragbox? What's the next plans? What are you doing? What's happening? Is it leaking in anymore? Have you stopped the leaks? Have you rebuilt this? What are you gonna do?
All the leaks are done. Right now, our main focus is order accuracy. So you'll see that when you start selling online. Sometimes somebody orders A and they get B, and there's still somehow I don't know how there's errors, but we're still making some. So this year, I'm like, accuracy is my goal, because it's annoying.
When you say accuracy, March, do you mean in the sense that obviously, because I don't know if many people know obviously at home, but you use an EPOS system, don't you? Whereas like for ourselves, for us personally at AAC, I do all the manual stock adjustments and stuff on our website, and when things come in, when we sell out stuff, I manually put it into stock, yada yada yada. You do it all through an electronic EPOS system where you log it all, and obviously as it scans through, it deducts it automatically. So are you referring to barcodes being listed as the wrong item? Is that what you mean?
No.
Oh, fair.
In a word, no.
Is it the wrong call in the wrong place?
Is it just down to someone putting the...
No, actually, it's not that either. It's just, how do I say this without complaining?
So it's a matter of fact.
Somebody orders A, the invoice says certain zoanthid, and then they end up getting something completely different, but they still wrote, yes, they packed this one. So I don't know. There's something broken in the system.
I see.
Oh, I think I know what you're referring to. I can sort of get it. But order accuracy then, so it's not necessarily a technical issue, it's more of a human issue. Is that right?
Error.
User error. None of us complained there. We just stated a fact.
But I always take responsibility even if the staff makes a mistake, because I designed the store, I designed the
Your
way they
business,
pack.
isn't it? Yeah.
It falls on, if they're making a mistake, it means I haven't done my job. I've set it up so that a mistake is possible.
Because of the process you put in place.
And I suppose because you're traveling a lot as well, that you need to make it really simple for them, don't you?
I was going to ask the question around, because you're traveling so much, how does the store run? Because obviously you need reliable staff, because you're not there for a long time, are you?
Yeah, the staff, I can leave for 2-3 weeks and they know what to do and they do their jobs and they show up on time. Right now I have the best team that we've ever had.
Excellent.
That's really good to hear.
That's good to hear.
I'm really happy.
I think I could say the same. Actually, I'm in a very fortunate position.
Not about Barry, no.
Yeah, got the best.
I'm sure a few customers would disagree on that.
I would say the same, March. I think we're quite lucky. We've both got good teams, haven't we? So, yeah,
that's why I don't complain.
No, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of businesses where the owners can't leave. They don't like leaving for a day.
Well, I
still struggle. Well,
yeah, I don't like leaving either.
But it's not that you can't; it's that you don't want
to.
That's the difference.
The reality is that if the staff would probably prefer it if I weren't here.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I can imagine.
What about the customers? What do they think?
What do you guys think?
I prefer. I don't care who I say.
There or not?
Yeah. I'm sure that Steve LeMay in the comments will, without a doubt, there'll be something about get rid of him for certain. Yeah. But
are you in the shop much?
What do you mean?
I don't know. I thought you live around here. You're doing a water change.
I do.
Right, for concept.
Because every day there's a spill, and it's usually you.
This is true. Right, let me as the reason. What's the reason here? I'll put context to the viewers at home and to Paul and to March, right? So it's a running joke these days that Paul, my old man, isn't at the shop anymore.
Oh,
a lot of customers think he's practically retired because they always see him jolling about in Canada with some crazy Canadian. But actually, he is here often. He's doing a lot of work here in Unit 5 in the seahorses and things like that. But often that does mean, yes, he does flood the place an awful lot recently.
I've flooded it
so much.
There's no comment. I flooded it really bad in the new unit the other day. It's far easier with you being out. No comment.
Yeah. So
how did you flood it?
He's not paying attention.
I was watching your shitty video at the time. I was watching one of your films. I don't know. It was watching one of his films. I can't remember where he was. It weren't the.
So he was in here. He was in here in Unit 5, and he was doing water change. This is the problem, March, right? And you can ask Mum as well. Ask Ange. She will tell you he's notorious for doing multiple things at once.
Well, I've been on the phone before when he's doing a water change.
This is the thing, right? Oh, so he was on his phone watching March's video, and then he's doing a water change on a 300-litre system, which hasn't got a sump, hasn't got any safety
500 litres
overflows. Yeah.
Do you have one of these on your phone?
Yeah, a timer.
Yeah.
He'll forget to turn it off. He's one of honestly. And so anyway, he ended up flooding it, and then he'd come in a panic, and then it was Cyrus's fault. I don't know how it was Cyrus's fault.
Yeah.
I always somehow managed to blame someone else for it, March. But actually, it was your fault last time. The last flood I had, I have to turn my notifications off. I think.
Madchep's
he's gone for a Brad Pitt mid-water change before. Yeah, that is true. Joe's
gone for a Brad Pitt movie.
Yeah.
What's a Brad Pitt?
Yeah. It's rhyming slang.
Rhyming slang.
I'll let you figure it out. I can't say
Work it out, March.
He's googling it.
Brad Pitt sounds like
cleaning his helipad.
Big shit.
Yeah.
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 Always someone else's fault.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, what are you doing? So, what's going to happen? The shop changing at all? I mean, obviously, I know that you've got to keep the ghost happy in the cellar.
Yeah.
But it's funny enough, not a lot of people believe it but I experienced that presence when I was down in your cellar. I got that cold tingle, that chill when I was down in your cellar once. But I mean, you can't make too many changes down there without upsetting the ghost, I would guess.
Or the landlord, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, What other questions do we have for him? Has he got any
Oh,
questions?
what
for
have
the
you got,
comments?
for God's sake?
Oh no, yeah, that's it for him. Well, funny enough, we've got a funny
Oh,
little
actually,
thing. Actually,
on that
hold
note-
on, one second. Joe Chambers has got done you a special little flyer earlier
good
on, March.
caveat.
This is for you, March. What do you think of that?
I love
He
it.
said- He said you're a fake, because he said you're
To
a
insult
fake.
you.
You're a fake American.
I love it.
Well, we can do a test. I was going to say, name me a metal that begins with A.
Aluminium.
Ah!
he said it right. He said
Oh,
it right.
you know, he was going to.
Aluminum. It's
No.
aluminum.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, he just wanted to put a US flag up there to insult you. Basically, that's what he was doing. You know what Joe's like.
It's a gesture.
Anyway.
It's a gesture of love. I get it.
It's a gesture of
Absolutely.
love.
Sure.
It is. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So there's a question here: is the ghost a clownfish?
No,
Yeah, it could be. Called Paul. He's always there.
He's there in spirit.
Yeah. All right. So, what I was going to say, Mark. So, Reef Casa. Obviously, you're jet setting around the world and all sorts all the time. Yet somehow you've managed to pull together another sort of almost separate company with trying to get people into reefing. That's been your drive for a long time, actually. A couple of 3 years. You've been on a bit of a mission, and I know that you haven't been making a fortune out of Reef Casa for certain. But you had it in your head that you needed to bring out a range of tanks that anyone could afford. That was the idea, wasn't it? Really? And you've sold how many now? Thousands, isn't it? A couple of thousand? How many do you reckon?
Probably around 3,000. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
Wow.
I thought. Yeah, 3,000. And you're posting all over the world. I know that. But you're also down into America now. You've got a few smaller distributors like me and whatever. You're involved with it. But the whole concept was really just to get people into reefing in the cheapest possible way. That was the whole idea, wasn't it? And is there any? Yeah, and is there any new ones? I mean, any new tanks? I know me and you spoke about lagoons and things like that. I've been watching Danny's aquarium lately, and that's a little bit. I bet that's tickling your what sits in it, that sort of style of tank and whatever. But is there any plans for new models? Hopefully, not too many.
One larger one. What's the one that's behind your head?
That is I believe that's a Villa 24.
So one a little bit bigger than that.
Yeah,
Nice.
I think that'd be good. I think these.
Then that's it. Good.
That's it. Yeah.
God, I don't need any more.
And how many countries do you sell to, March?
All of them.
Okay, right. How many?
When was the last time you posted a tank to Samoa?
Yeah.
March.
Samoa
North
never, but
Korea.
we sent to Serbia last week.
Serbia?
Yeah, to Belgrade. Yeah.
What, from Canada to
Yeah,
Serbia?
I got someone that
Do they have
asked if we-
electricity there?
Wow.
Huh?
Do they have electricity there?
They do, yeah. We've sent to South Africa. We've sent to most of Europe. We've sent to Mexico, Colombia. Mostly it's going to the US though.
Yeah.
Do you find they are to new reefers? Do you know? Do you get an idea
Yeah.
of whether they're new people?
I think so because on the site is we have saltwater starter kits for newbies, and
Yeah.
that's the majority of the sale is the full kit. So I assume that they're new to the hobby.
And do you think you'll ever get into the freshwater side? I know when me and you was in vivarium, you was blowing away boulder planted aquariums and things. Do you think you'll ever bother with that, or is it just too much?
I can appreciate it, like when I see a nice freshwater tank, but it just doesn't interest me. I just can't. Yeah.
And any
if I'm not
product-
interested in it, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Fair. That's fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any new products coming out, March? I brought a few of your new bits in. I still think the old bio brick things you do for nanos. I mean, no one else does this perfect little cube for those. I mean, they've been going quite well. But is there any new stuff coming out at all?
A little reactor.
Oh yeah, we've been asked for that actually, March, because people obviously trying to control phosphate and things like that.
I will talk to you about that at some point in the next week or so.
And it'll go into the you could hide it with the filtration cover into the back. So it's not like a big thing sticking out. If you don't want to see it, you won't even see it. It's hidden.
Right, cool.
Yeah, because in most all-in-ones, they seem to appear above the top, don't they? So they're, even if you've got a little cover, they're quite big, aren't as the rule with those. So have you designed it all? It's in production, or?
Yeah, it's on the way. It's been almost a year of going back and forth with an acrylic manufacturer, but it's done. I'm just basically waiting for them to arrive here.
Cool.
So do you design it yourself and then you send it off to the manufacturers for them to do samples, send it back, and then you say, and then you iterate from there, basically?
Yeah. And then the other thing I'm almost done, we've been working on, is our own version of an Aptasia killer.
Right.
Oh, was it not a laser, is it?
No, it's like our own concoction that I used to use back in the day when I was broke and couldn't afford anything. And now we can't get Red Sea Aptasia X anymore in Canada.
Why?
It got, I don't know, something's going on with Aptasia X, and it got banned. So there are a couple other alternatives, but that was sort of the fuel for like, okay, I should really start making this and putting and packaging it.
Yeah. I wonder what that is, because I can't imagine that there's anything really that toxic in the Aptasia X. It might be something to do with March with the needle, but even though it's not a needle, but you know, like the syringe, you've got the metal part. Maybe it's something to do with the applicator or something being dangerous, because I can't imagine that the Aptasia X itself is very dangerous. It's going to be sort of a calcium carbonate based thing. So I don't know why they ban that. But Canada, actually, for those that are watching as well, is actually almost as strict as the UK with a lot of things, isn't it? If not stricter in some. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And do you think a bit like us at the minute, we're getting really fed up with all the red tape? There's constant red tape. You know, we're not allowed to use a lot of copper treatments, although we all still do. I don't think there's a store in the land that does. But, you know, it's getting more and more difficult to get hold of like imported copper-based products and things like that at the moment. Are you experiencing that with medications over there?
Yeah, lots of medications, lots of products from Europe we can't get in. The government kind of gets involved, I think, in some places where they shouldn't. Instead of focusing on other issues, they're wasting time, energy, and money on cracking down on fish shop owners. It doesn't make sense to me.
No, we've actually got Coral Head, actually, March, if you see in the comments there. That's Corey from NIOS, and he just said it could be because of this high pH solution, maybe.
What up, Corey?
Yeah.
Gave us a great tour of NIOS when we were there. That's an awesome place.
Oh yeah, you went to White Corals as well, didn't you?
Yeah. Corey brought us to, man. Thank you again. Awesome spot.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I have a question for you. Have you ever had any zoanthids that kind of slow down in growth or stop growing altogether?
Yes. That's happened to me several times, funny enough. You know, one of the varieties, if you like, would be Utter Chaos. 1 minute we just seem to be doing really, really well with them, and then all of a sudden we don't. And I can never really pinpoint why that is. Maybe Corey, maybe Corey will have a comment for that on there. But yeah, do you want to go through the chat a little bit more, Paul?
Yeah, just bet on the.
We're just going to go through the chat, Mark. So we'll come back to your zoanthid thing.
So have you got more than one colony of the Utter Chaos? And they all stop.
I've got one colony in the farm that I dare not touch. We might clip a few off and stick it out, but when sometime I've found in the past that they just shrivel away, get smaller and smaller and smaller.
What, the heads or the number of polyps?
No, and the actual heads get smaller until they become no more. Almost they shrink right the way back. Whereas in the farm next door,
because they're big, they're massive. I just brought you some in, and they're massive.
Well, that's why I've asked you to bring some in.
Yeah,
because I can't produce enough myself. But yes, March, I have experienced that, and I don't really have an answer. Maybe a bit like some of the other corals out there, maybe Corey will agree with this, it could be down to viruses, things that we still don't know about. So, for example, you bring some zoanthids in from Indonesia, and you put them, say, maybe against some zoanthids you've had for a number of years or something. Maybe there's some sort of viral or bacterial or something like that with it. I've never really fully known. No, it looks like, Corey's just
very humble.
All right, all right, fair enough. What have you experienced in March? Have you actually had some problems then yourself then with zoanthids?
Yeah, with one that used to grow like a weed. It was a scrambled eggs, and everything seems normal. and I can't figure out why. For whatever reason, it just isn't producing the way it used to, and I don't know what I'm doing differently. Everything seems the same. How long is your photo period at the shop?
Well, that's in the store, in the actual main store, in the sales area. I would say that's 7:30 till 5:30.
So, yeah, 10 hours.
Yeah,
10 hours. Okay.
yeah. In the farm, it's probably about 12 hours. But this goes back to what Pat was saying at a reefing audience with about the DLI thing. Did you ever listen to Pat on that or not? He's your mate. Have you never listened to him? One of the things that Pat's sort of said before is that he found that a lot of you only really need 8 hours of super intense light and then give them a little bit more darkness.
That's right. Was it longer light but less intensity, and shorter lighting but higher intensity?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
That was basically what he was saying.
He
Wasn't it?
found that algae never got a foothold at a shorter,
Yeah.
more intense light frame than having a longer.
You're going to have your lights
period.
on longer.
Maybe you touched on something there.
You're basically
Mark.
overcooking them if you do it for longer time and higher intensity.
Yeah.
I suppose the lights today,
Yeah.
you're less likely to undercook a light, a
Yeah.
coal, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh, what's this Corey said in the chat? Actually,
Corey's
He's giving
coming
some
out.
advice.
There we go. We've got this here. But yes, I've saved many Zoas like stratospheres and antibiotic dips
and then he's
that were melting away.
So
I like to do small H2O2 dips when
That's
Zoas look a bit iffy.
Hydrogen peroxide march.
Yeah, I haven't done that in a long time.
Yeah, I did see someone actually. I think it might have been on Instagram or YouTube the other day doing a hydrogen peroxide, just to the point, just before where they start to produce bubbles. Stop when if you see any bubbles on the zoanthids, but I think that can maybe help. But yeah, I have to say, not a Zoa expert.
Could you try putting it into a different coral tray? Just to give it completely different conditions.
That's the next step, yeah.
Yeah, very odd. Because I presume these are all because I saw huge mats of zoanthids down in your basement, and I saw your little technique with the coral gravel and things like that, and they were doing really, really well. So was it in one of those tables, or is it up in the store that they're not doing so well?
No, in one of those tables in the basement.
Yeah, and they were really healthy when I saw them. Yeah, you were growing them all like weeds, weren't you? Now, absolutely, yeah. Now, I must confess, the only thing I've learned over the years, I think from you and from others I've spoke to with zoanthids, is a lot of people underestimate the amount of flow that they really need.
Yeah, they like the current.
Yeah,
but it's easy for the detritus to get caught up in between, isn't it? And then it starts growing over, and they don't have that freedom. Absolutely. Right, let's go through a couple of comments. So, yes, the heat pack is really good. So, I went and picked up a heat pack yesterday. So, I'm just posting some corals out today.
Yeah.
And I'll run out of heat pack. So, thank you. That worked well. So, hopefully, I'll get them some of that's actually Zoas that was posting out because I'm closing the tank down. Columbia, let's go a bit slow. Did Columbia send anything back? No comment.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
We got Drippy.
Ryan, stop flirting with my mother.
Yeah.
You want the glass?
What's this?
Oh, what's that?
You want the
class of front and centre, not the apparently we're the riff-raff.
I'll give that one.
Okay. And then Mum said, yeah, she's been to a
Oh, don't you start.
No, hang on, what's this?
She'll start turning him on.
Here you go, look. What's this? The next one? You dirty
boy.
You wait till I see you.
You dirty boy.
Oh, dear. Moving on.
Yeah.
What have we got?
Adam Crispy, he's hello,
Hi,
Adam. You're right.
Hello, Adam.
Hello.
Right. Let's come down. We've done that. We've done that.
We've done that one.
Concentrated to be sold.
Oh, Spiritual Reefers put one as well.
I had utter chaos one time for about 5 minutes in the Angels.
You've got
actually, a lot of Steve's comment up there. You love an X. What Steve means there? This is my good friend I've known for years. Apparently, whenever I sell him anything, it always has an X after it. It adds an extra £100 to everything. That's what he says.
Oh, I see. It's the X, not even kids,
the
extra of money.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
It's got Spiritual Reefer.
Yeah, we'd like to see an in-depth video update of the AAC farm.
Yeah.
Is that allowed, Dad? Are we
Well,
allowed?
well, we had talked about doing one of the live things where we do a
Yeah, we could do. Yeah, I mean, it's still a little bit on the empty side because I've got about just like I've always stuck to the rules that every time that I move a coral, it has to be dipped. Well, I've got to move around about 2,000 corals, so I've got a lot of work ahead of me. There's a lot of dipping involved.
Didn't you
a lot of
get
cleaning.
feedback from March and Fang on that one?
Yeah,
when
I did
you was
once.
out there about you were saying you should dip, and they're looking at you going, "Why are you doing all that?"
Yeah, well,
Well,
no,
that
no.
was
They
that right?
said that I wouldn't stick to my discipline, and before long,
okay.
I would just throw it all in the tank and not give a monkeys about
I
it.
can
But,
assure you he will stick to
I
it.
can imagine.
yeah,
you-
I will
I can
stick to
assure
it. You know,
you.
they, unfortunately, that stubborn that I will have to do it now even
Yeah.
more.
But I mean, there's still a lot to show because you've got corals
It's
around the
grown,
corner here.
yeah.
Yeah,
What the systems look like, and
Yeah.
then I mean the stuff you could do on the
Seahorses.
seahorses.
yeah, sure.
Because
Yeah,
I certainly haven't seen anything about seahorses. There's very little on YouTube about seahorses.
yeah,
There's
We
not
are-
many people.
We are
that-
due a couple of more videos on the channel actually as well.
Yeah.
At some point. So.
yeah.
I think just
Not to add to the workload or anything.
yeah, but all
Yeah.
the things
March,
you do,
can't you just fly over here and do it for me?
Yeah, can me and you just do it together?
You just fly over
Come
here.
over.
Pay for the airfare. I'm coming.
Yeah, okay.
Fair.
All right.
So where are you in May? Are you going to come to the UK in May?
I don't know. Should I? What's going on?
Yes.
Oh.
We'll talk about that
come to
later.
that.
Yeah.
We'll come to that later. Or October, maybe.
Or maybe, yeah, maybe, yeah,
Or maybe both.
Don't
maybe
get excited,
both.
everyone.
yeah.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, go on.
right. Let's see what else we
Corey's
have
put some more
got
bits-
here.
Corey's put
It's
some
coming
more.
down. Right, there we go. That's the next one on the H2O2. Helps to kill that weird algae film that likes to build up on zoas and old school vitamin C dosing.
Vitamin C. I wonder why. I
I've
wonder why vitamin C.
I've started.
You're doing
something.
it?
Since
Have you?
I spoke with Corey when I went to NIOS. Yeah, I used to 15 years ago. I started doing it again.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Acid.
Speaking of which,
And it was a
Thank you,
pleasure to
man.
have Margie partner here. Excellent.
That was a really cool spot.
And reefing audience TBC, maybe. we'll see. Absolutely.
Right. Well, that moves on to a little bit about. Are you all still good for time, March? Because I know that you had a meeting. That was all.
Yeah.
You're right. Are you still good? You sure? Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta
Cool.
head out at maybe like 20-ish.
Okay. Right. So basically, the other thing, March, we're going to talk about tonight. Mr. Paul L here is about to embark on his. But it's come up a bit quick, isn't it?
It has. Yes.
We're
So,
just going to talk about doing a new tank, March, and Paul came to us about 2 years ago when he first mentioned he might be doing a new tank.
well, I did, but I downgraded, didn't I?
Yeah.
So I used to have a 5-foot tank, and I just got fed up with the water changes. So I downgraded to a 5-foot to a peninsula. But my wife Jill just hates it, and I used to do a live stream, and she'd be on the live stream just slagging it off because she'd say that's just not a proper tank.
Yeah.
So
She wants a big
So
one.
we've been having a conversation about a 4-foot tank, and she just told me to fuck off.
Yeah.
Because we're not having a 4-foot tank.
Yeah.
So we're in negotiation as to what size of tank we're at. And the reason why I don't want a really large tank is the water changes. I hate the carrying of water through. So I'm now looking to
heard this problem. I don't think any man has ever had this problem.
No, I know. He doesn't
I think-
realise this.
I think for context, we should explain that Jill, who we know quite well, obviously myself and my dad, is contrary to a lot of partners, I think,
yes.
is very
Never
much up
happened.
for the idea of a massive aquarium.
Yes.
Paul is allowed to practically have what he wants. She's well into it.
Well, my favourite collie, which is a Scully, a war paint Scully, she bought it for me about 9 years ago, and it was 150 quid then. That was 9 years ago, and in the UK you can't get those
not now.
Scullies
You
anymore.
live in some weird alternate universe. You know that?
Yeah, that's what everyone says to me, and this is kind of the
Yeah.
norm.
Honestly,
My
she said
wife
to me,
wants me to get a bigger aquarium.
That's about it.
yeah. But honestly, she said to me once, March, she said to me, I hate that tank. She's talking about a red Sea Nano, right, that he's got, which is really pretty. He's done a lovely job of it, actually. But she hates it because it's too little. It's silly. She sees it as silly.
It's not a proper tank.
Yeah, it's not a real. But not being funny, she would hate your tank range. She'd say they're shit.
Yeah.
You know. So,
She'd say, get a proper one.
She wants to see a big one, and he's allowed to have a big one, but he's been arsing about for the last 18 months. And all of a sudden,
we've got the builders in.
The builders are in and smashed his house. They're smashing his house to bits.
So on Wednesday, they said that tank's got to go. When? This weekend. So I've got to move the tank this weekend. Fortunately, it's only 100 litres, so that's nice and easy to move. So I'm going to get Joe round to see what we can do.
Joe Chambers, March. He's going to go and see if he can make it all nice and automated for him.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
He's going to make it so he doesn't just move a few levers to do a water change.
Well, my ask is just I don't want to take the water into the room where the tank is. Got to be in the garage. So I've got a garage and I've got 2 tanks there, and that's fine. But I don't want the water because I spill it all over the place. I make a mess, and it's just annoying.
You do break a lot of stuff.
I break anything. If anyone wants me to test anything to see how robust it is, I should have it because I break anything.
We're not setting a very good example here with my dad flooding the place all the time, Paul breaking all the
basically,
the only thing I haven't done is break an aquarium. Kit, and
I don't say that.
Come on. No, yes, you did. You did break an aquarium because I had to bleed and call the tank.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, he broke an aquarium.
So I got a tank from Paul and I broke the weir on it. Fortunately, it was a DD tank.
Brand new.
When was that?
When I got the DD, so I overscrewed the what's it? The return nozzle.
It was the return nozzle that comes through the weir and cracked it, all the glass on it.
So I put the tank in the back of the car and I drove it. Fortunately, the factory is only 40 minutes from me. Could you be one of Red Sea tanks? Or I had to got a new tank.
You'd have to drive to China.
Well,
Get Master ship one back home.
And to be fair, I took it there, I left it there, and they replaced the whole weir for 20 quid.
Yeah, it's good.
So it was top service from you and also from DD, to be fair. And DD tanks are top notch as well.
They are. They're pretty solid. I mean, you have to be a right silly bugger
so
to grab
one.
one.
Tank as well.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, you did.
I really don't.
Paul.
So anyway, are we
Right,
decided on a size?
No.
Oh.
Well, what, roughly 7 foot, 8 foot, 9 foot,
so
10
I think the minimum would have to be 5.
Go bigger so your wife will shut up.
I would say she'd be quiet for a little while. No,
put it in a 12-footer.
No. I tell you what, no way I can have a 12. I mean, pelagic swimmer who's Rob.
Yes,
he's got a 12-foot tank, and I've seen it a couple of times. The work he spends on that tank, there's no way I'd have that. So I have to give up my job, which I'd love to do, but I wouldn't be able to pay the bills. But I don't know.
But listen, someone would do very well out.
Yeah, it'll be 10 foot after I'm finished.
Depends what your definition of 10 foot is, Joe.
But hopefully we're gonna.
So that'll be later on this year.
Can I throw a spanner in the works? You know, you're saying about DD tanks.
Yeah,
I've heard through the grapevine. I don't know if they're in production yet, but they're making a 7-foot one.
Well, that at Aqua they had. I think it was a 7-foot tank.
They got the 6 foot.
It was I think it's over 6. It's a beast.
Yeah, they're making a.
So they've got the 1800, which is the 6 foot, haven't they?
2100 is the 7 foot. Yeah, it looks very nice, but
yeah.
But I think you should go for it, Paul. I mean, look, you're so rare, like Mark says, to have a partner that says get a bigger one. I remember I had to lie to Ange one because
she's here.
Yeah, I know. No, she knows anyway that I lied to her because she was there when the tank turned up. So it was. I told her. I said I wanted an extra foot. Is all I said, March. I said I wanted an extra foot. It was a 3 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot cube I had in a small house I lived in, and I said to Ange, I said I only want to make it a foot bigger, so I got a foot, but I ended up going even that way. I went like that way, and this 4-foot tank was a beast. It's the biggest 4-foot tank you'd ever seen, and it turned out she came in the house from work, and she went, "What the heck?" Like that, you know what I mean? Yeah. So normally I find most partners have to lie to their partners usually.
And usually, if Jill comes to me to the store, I end up walking away with a Gonipora or something like that.
Good.
That I wouldn't have bought.
Yeah, she's great. Thank you, Jill, if you're watching.
Yeah, thanks, Jill.
Appreciate it. She's a Zumba too.
I need my ribeye steaks too.
Exactly.
Well, she won't relax. She's a vegetarian, so she won't agree with that.
Oh, okay, fair enough. All right.
People are loving this. There's loads of comments coming in.
So yeah, go on, do some comments.
There's loads coming in. I'm
Oh,
reading
right,
some.
good.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Comments.
That's pelagic from
There we
there
go there,
down.
big
Yeah.
boy tank. And to be fair, Michael's tank is absolutely
It's lovely.
superb.
Yeah.
I think it's 6 foot, about 2.5 foot deep, and the angel fish in there.
He's got queen angels in there and all sorts.
It's just a
Mark.
whole tank full of angels, and of course, and also most tanks now, including mine, you always see Goniapora, or you'll see a torch, because
Torches,
virtually
hammers.
everyone's got those. There's purely soft corals, and it looks absolutely fantastic. And of course, you can't have anything other than that because the angels will go to town on it. But it's
I'm
an
going to
absolute.
record a 12-foot tank tomorrow here in
Oh yeah.
Nice.
What? Oh yeah.
Nice.
What, in a domestic residence or a business, March?
No, it's the guy put it in his office.
All right.
Wow.
What, was that stony coral reef, or is it a mixed reef, or do you not know
Mixed.
yet? Mixed, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, yeah. Is that, you know, when we was in Toronto? Is that I know you was doing one in the city centre. Was that a restaurant one or something you was doing, or when we were
No.
driving about?
It's in someone's house.
All right, okay, cool, yeah.
JB, that's
Absolutely. Let's go through the costs.
funny.
Cost me a fortune in shoes and handbags to be able to get a
That's the
2-foot
usual
cruise.
one.
That's the usual. You're the minority, Paul. This is the thing.
Well, the thing is, though, Jill can go and spend on whatever she wants anyway.
Right.
But yeah,
So it's not like what's hers is hers and what's yours is hers. Then you
no,
get-
it's that is exactly that. No, but it is all hers.
all right.
But, so I just borrow some money from time to time
From
to do
yourself?
some reefing. Yeah, yeah. And I owe you because Jill's got all the money in her account as well.
Okay.
Cross.
Let's cross the up.
It's a bit slow, isn't it?
That's it. Oh,
Jill knows
what
what
she's
she's
talking
talking
about.
about.
She
Yeah.
does.
Very true.
oh, there's a
Yeah,
look, a reefer.
do you know what? We
We
can't
should.
do a poll. I know.
know.
We have to get onto your YouTube channel on here
Yes.
and then set up. We'll do that.
we'll
Maybe
do
on
it another
Instagram.
time.
Or
We'll do
something.
another
Yeah,
one.
we'll do another
What
one.
size should Paul L's
Yes.
tank be? He can have
Yeah.
whatever tank he wants.
Well, the
Anyway.
actual space that it could go in is 10 foot.
It's 10 foot.
Oh,
It's a 10-foot space,
oh,
Joe.
There is no way on earth
Joe,
I
get
am
your tape
going
measure.
10 foot. No way on earth.
I think you
About
should.
9.5.
No, I just don't want to.
What I'll do is, you know what I'm going to do? When I do your quote with Joe, if you want anything less than a 6-foot tank, I'm going to add 10
there's
grand.
like a minimal order. There's a minimum size.
Yeah, I'm
Is that
going
what
to
you're
say
saying?
anything less than a
Jesus.
6-foot is 10 grand added. So
Yeah.
you save money by going bigger.
Jill with like a shark's pond.
yeah,
She probably would.
yeah,
Chucking around this.
yeah.
Oh dear.
I
I am very lucky.
Yeah.
Very lucky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I don't have to hide the receipts or
Yeah, look, what
Anything
gear
like
would
that.
you put on
Oh,
a piece?
What if you did this? What if you did 4 2-foot Reef Casa tanks in a row? So you're both happy because it'll look big, but then you like small tanks. So it's
she prefers the fish to corals. So of course, when you've got a peninsula, you've only got 3 fish. She goes, blah, that's just horrible. She likes it with the tangs and amphias and stuff like that. So she likes fish that I suppose swim
Impact.
around. Yeah, that swim around. So,
Swimmers.
you know, when I had 4 peacock wrasse, the only regret I got I didn't get 8. They're absolutely fantastic peacock wrasse swimming around as a shoal. So that kind of thing. She hates SPS. So if we go anywhere where someone's got an SPS tank, she walks out and I go, wow, and she go, what a load of rubbish.
Really? So she thinks
She hates it. She goes, they just stand there like sticks.
Funny enough,
Yeah.
my mum says the same thing.
That's what they do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, but so she loves. I think I'm going to take her around to see my tank because
Yeah.
if she likes all the softies, I might go softy.
Yeah, well, I love a soft girl
with
tank,
with
yeah.
angels. So I always look at. I love a flame angel. Used to be able to get them a
Yeah.
lot back in when I first started.
Yeah.
And the reason why I don't get it when you've got scollies and stuff like that, I wouldn't
Coach,
risk a
yeah.
flame angel
Yeah.
on a scolly. So I do like the idea of getting the dwarf. I wouldn't get the bigger ones, but the dwarf ones. Or the
I've
smaller
never
ones.
understood this actually, something which is quite interesting. This may come across as being sexist, but it's not because I see it in the shop. SPS corals seem very, very male dominated hobby. It seems to be a more
I
male
think it
dominated
seems
hobby.
to be an alpha male. If you've got SPS, then you can push your
Yeah.
chest out. That
Yeah,
you
it
can
does
keep
seem more masculine.
That's what I see anyway.
side,
I've never.
Yeah, there's not too. I know one lady who's obsessed with SPS corals, but I don't know too many. Generally, they seem to warm to more LPS corals, soft corals.
I like the movement. I like movement, and I think you get better coloration. You have to put on your gaffer glasses to see the colour of a frag. I'm not interested.
What's with that?
No, that's.
And by the way, we're now going to do a promotion on Reef
intro.
Casa photo lens. Yeah,
That's a great caveat.
because the Reef Casa photo lens has a yellow filter in it, so you as
Oh,
well.
In all seriousness, I've said
I
this
could get some
to
quality stream.
Absolutely.
I know they don't do it. Have you seen quality stream?
Yeah,
They've changed it now. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
They've changed it. Not like that anymore.
No, it's
They're not
paper.
shiny and see-through
No.
anymore.
No,
But-
so I think Kuri put a comment on there a minute ago about what kit would you put on
Yeah.
this
What
tank?
gear would you put on that beast?
What
of a tank?
gear?
Well, I used to put loads of when I had the 5 foot, I put all bells and whistles on it. I've turned most of the bells and whistles. So even on the peninsula now, I dose manually every morning. I'm only dosing 5 to 6
What's
mil.
your March?
But-
What's your favourite bit of new kit at the minute? Have you put anything new on in the shop that you've tested out? You like?
Strations.
Oh, you've got one.
Oh.
Stratton.
But I saw some in person. They look great.
Yeah,
So I'd have an Apex. So I've got an Apex. I wouldn't live without an Apex
yeah.
because that saved my tanks
Yeah.
a number
I've
of times over the years.
I've just got the Strattons,
I would
March.
use hydros over an Apex.
Would you? They're not available in the UK, though, are they?
No, well, what's that?
That's shit.
What is?
They're not available.
You can't get hydros. They're great. I'm on the hydros.
Have you
wagon.
got? Have you got one now? Seriously, Hydros running?
I've set up 2 of them, and I'm in love with them.
Really? Yeah. But
Yeah.
they haven't actually completed that alkalinity monitoring and all that yet, have they?
No, not yet. But I think the interface for people that are setting up for the first time is a lot easier than an Apex.
Oh, really?
Very user friendly.
Trouble is, if you're invested like me, yeah, into Apex or Neptune, you put a lot of money into it already. You know, I
Yes.
don't know that I would change.
I do like the Apex. It's been
Sometimes
reliable
better,
to me,
sometimes better the devil you
Yeah.
know. But you know, he's talking about Strattons, March.
Mhm.
They've just we've got new distribution on Strattons in the UK now, and we've just took our first like big order in, and they are really
A lot of
lovely.
people talking
Yeah.
about them actually.
They are
I've seen posts.
Software ain't. I know Corey's in the chat, but the software could do with improving. They could take a leaf out of AI software or something like that. But
I did
the
manage to
actual
get
quality of the light is superb, without a doubt.
I did manage to get it connected though, didn't I?
Yeah.
So yeah, they're very nice.
Mm.
That's
Just
my
some other
cue.
comments.
I gotta run
Uh,
this.
He's got to
Okay.
go.
Right,
Lovely
okie
to
doke,
see you.
March. Well, it's lovely to see you, pal.
Glad to
And
see you.
I'll see you soon. Yeah.
I'll be in touch about
Have
mine.
you got a last little song you want to play just before you go?
Here he is.
Paul's a cunt.
Oh, dear. And on that note, we love you and
Yeah.
leave you.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Right.
joining, March.
See you later,
Bye,
pal.
Very
guys.
much.
Take it easy.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Brilliant.
Right. Well, that was. He was quite well behaved.
He
I
was,
thought.
he was
Sensible.
better behaved than when he was on
He
with
was,
us last
he was
time.
very well behaved. I think he was worried.
He was chilled, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he didn't seem to be. Must have had his Ritalin or whatever they give to people like him or something.
He was
Was it
calm.
Mogadons or something he must have had before he came on or something?
Brilliant. Well, we're
Yeah.
going for a few more comments. It just
Yeah.
needs to be bigger than the AAC display.
Yeah.
Tell you what I might
But you know what he did? Steve did.
No.
I swear on my
this is
life,
true.
he built his tank 5 mil or
Did he? So
10
he's got a
mil
bigger tank than you.
just so he could tell everyone these tanks bigger than the AAC
Brilliant.
display. Yeah.
I do fancy going to a tank a little bit deeper. Because
Do
you see a lot of them that are quite shallow.
Don't go
I don't
too
mean I
deep.
don't mean 3 foot,
Yeah.
but maybe I don't know. I'd have to go custom then.
Yeah.
That's why I like the depth of the Red Sea S series.
Yes.
Because they're
Yeah.
what 67, 68
Yeah.
centimeters.
Yeah. I mean, 67 to 70.
Yeah.
You got to measure.
I'm
what you gotta
I'm
do
not
is
as tall as you, but
You've
I'm,
got to get a tape
Yeah.
measure, and you've got to measure from here
yeah.
to here.
I want to be able
Yeah.
to. I want to be able to get my hand in and touch the bottom. So that's
Yeah.
probably about the
Yeah.
3. Definitely not 3 foot because that would be just a pain in the
Yeah,
ass.
very deep tanks are a nightmare to garden, which means that
Yeah.
if you've got to reach across, say, 80 centimeter front to back, say,
Yeah.
and you've got to reach down.
No,
to
so
the-
I wasn't thinking
Yeah.
front of back. I was thinking that even the depth.
Yeah.
So front to back, I wouldn't go more than probably 2 foot because the area it would go in.
Yeah.
I don't want to come out more than 2 foot.
Yeah.
But in terms of height, I could go a little bit higher. But then I don't know if I want to do custom or not. So I've got all that to decide.
If Joe's your man, if you want a custom.
Yeah.
And of course, he'll work with Seabray for you or something like that.
So I just got to decide. I might just get one off the shelf and customize it. That feels like quite a challenge.
Yeah.
But I think it also depends in terms of the kit. If I stock soft corals, I don't need as much kit.
No, most of the filtration comes from the soft corals. Yeah.
And also dosing, I won't need as much. But if I go for mixed reef, then I'll probably have a bit more on there because the parameters and everything else.
Yeah,
and I dose more.
You can still do a mixed reef, but it's predominantly soft coral dominated.
Yeah.
You know, you can. I mean, when we did our soft coral tank in the store there with a tons wave box, we used the existing rockwork that was originally an SPS aquarium, and I busted off everything and got rid of it all. And before I started planting there, and there wasn't hardly any scabs of SPS left at all in there. I managed to destroy it all because I didn't want it to look like a mixed reef because of the tank opposite. And sure enough, around about 14 months later, a Montiporus setosa grew out of a rock. So you'd be surprised. There are some stony corals that work quite well with soft corals, but of course there's a lot of toxins that are exuded with them. And of course they want to displace stony corals. That's what their process of evolution is, that they taking over the reef. So they're like, I always refer to soft corals as modern corals because they came after those stonies. But yeah, the nice thing with a soft coral aquarium is that when it's really well established, it will almost filter itself. The only downside with a soft coral aquarium that many people don't realise is that although an SPS aquarium you'd always imagine is more delicate, the serious problem you've got with a soft coral aquarium is heat. Soft corals do not react very well to boiling hot tanks. Stony corals have
so what kind of temperature are you talking about they don't like? Over what,
well,
27, 28?
really you should try and maintain your soft coral aquarium. I'm talking about summertime temperatures of superseding 30 degrees. You might start to lose the odd soft coral. And if you lose a soft coral, you're going to toxify the tank. Whereas if you lose an acro, it's such a thin, it just goes white and dies. But you know,
even in the hottest weather, if we've had 30, 33 degrees in our house, it never.
All I'm doing is getting you ready for the idea. You might want a chiller, Paul. I can sell you a chiller.
Do I hear a Teco 1000?
I'd rather get an AC unit. Than that. I'm gonna get you a face drop. But I am enjoying.
Says he who's got AC unit.
Where's your chillers here? I've got a chiller. Is that a chiller over there?
I'm going to tell you what it is for now. Right, what comments we got there?
So was it our front room was
it was. I did put a tank in. It was stupid sized for the front room, but I also bought a settee that wouldn't get through the front door. I have the habit of buying things too big. I don't know.
Because that's the other thing is the size of the tank and how you can get it through.
60 centimeters, you're through every front door.
Yes, that helps. What's this? This is so close to home remix cam. It's a fish left with a husband who got the better deal. I love my pets, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is the gentleman you spoke to
the other day talking about living in Mauritius.
Remember?
Oh yes, yeah. I remember the gentleman. Yeah.
Michael saying a 6x3x3.
I think that's the size of his tank.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really nice. 8 foot.
That's to you, I think.
I know.
8 foot. That's to you. And she's even stitching you up.
Go on, Mum.
You know. Now she's a partner. She cares about the sound.
So, Jill, I just just have a chat with Paul. He wants to put a tank.
I'll get Ange to talk to Jill.
That'd be it then.
Yeah.
Auto changes.
Absolutely.
There will, whatever I set up, I want to do something that's easy for water changes.
Joe's just set up auto water change tonight on the seahorses. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hi, Dan.
My 8 foot is along a 10-foot wall, perfect size for it. You're welcome to come. I will come down and see. I did say, Dan, I'll come down and I've seen the video. I've seen the videos from
Tony's video.
Tony, absolutely fantastic. Hello, mate. Thank you for joining. What's this? The 1.7 litre custom Pico Reef is still going successfully. Wow.
1.7 litres. We need pictures. Send us a picture. I'd like to see that.
Bottle.
Like to see that.
Yeah,
I'm with Jill. What's my mum saying here? That I'm with Jill Much prefer the fluffy floaty ones. I told you.
Don't use that jargon with us, Ange.
Yeah. That's not very trained spot like, is it?
You should know all the names.
They're called polyps, darling. Polyps.
Michael's agreeing with her, I think, as well. I like big floppy corals.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Who doesn't,
Yeah,
who doesn't like floppy corals?
yeah.
Really expensive gear. Well, it doesn't take much for it to be expensive.
Not when
Not
Joe's
when
not
you've
when
got
Joe's
Joe.
helping you out.
We
Yeah.
are talking about luxury aquarium design. You realise that, didn't
Yes,
you?
I know.
He is in a different league.
I just need some help on some things.
Yeah.
Right there.
Oh, look, did you hear that then? I could feel his bank account dying in the
yeah.
I saw like
Well,
Palestine.
my bank account's taking an absolute hammering at the moment.
Yeah.
My sister.
This is all, yeah.
AAC, the pair of clownfish, normal dominant, are still super happy.
Oh, I
with me,
know this
lovely
is. I
specimens.
know this is. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Where are we?
He's got a multiracial relationship pair of clownfish.
Oh,
He's got a domino clown,
yeah.
like a black clown.
Yeah.
And then he's got like the standard Ocellaris with it. It's quite a nice mix.
Nice.
I do like to get them mixes of clowns. They look lovely, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no, I don't love your. He's taking the piss there.
He
If
is
you go
taking
back
the
to
piss.
Joe,
Yeah.
because Joe loves a deep tank. See the tank in the corner over
Yeah.
there?
What's that?
Yeah,
Free?
That was one that
Is it
Joe.
3 foot?
That was the one that Joe had built for his house. He always builds them, but he can't look after.
Because he hasn't got to get his hand.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, Steve's saying 75, no deeper.
There
Yeah,
you go.
that
That's
makes
what we
sense.
learned with Steve.
Steve's had a
actually.
few tanks over the years, so yeah.
Yeah.
So what's that?
Well, he's actually had tanks for 30.
So what's that?
years.
That's a foot and a half.
Yeah.
isn't
So
it?
yeah. It's. I
Oh,
think
no, it's not a foot and a half.
No, it's
two and a half.
2.5
sorry.
feet.
2.5 foot,
feet.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason why, and that's completely different. When we was Dijon, when we saw the really deep tanks,
Yeah.
the behaviour of the fish, and I've
Yeah,
noticed
they
that
are better.
when I've seen Rob's tank, pelagic swimmer, Rob, what's the depth of yours? Maybe 3 foot.
Something like 2
I
or
mean,
3
the
foot. Yeah.
behaviour. I think when you can, I just think the fish behaviour is different.
It
as
is.
gets deeper.
Certainly
And I
for
think-
spawning.
Yeah.
I mean,
But just
yeah,
generally,
yeah.
they've got more swim room. They're out in the open and stuff like that.
But one of the reasons why we went for the tall 3 foot cube for the some of the adult seahorses is that when seahorses, like a lot of marine fish, spawn,
yeah,
they literally rise to the surface like this to obviously.
yeah. I think we
And
saw
that-
some of them. The yellow tangs. were in there.
Absolutely, yeah.
They're not going to do that in a. I think they were 6 foot deep. Weren't
Yeah,
they? It was off the
yeah,
ground.
yeah.
But I just think there's a bit more
Yeah.
movement.
It's just maintenance. They're a
Yeah.
pain in the ass. Like Steve said, 75. If you're more focused on fish and you just want to drop.
Well, if I go, if I want to go angels,
yeah,
then I'll go
Oh,
soft
you
corals.
Oh, you really got this, ain't
I
you?
see
I know.
Michael
After
was
seeing
saying
Michael,
yesterday.
I know.
Yeah.
Michael's
It
got
was honestly
It's got a
seeing.
cracking tank.
I wouldn't have. I mean, it's got absolutely superb. I can't remember the name of the large angel. Yeah,
Yeah.
He
I
got-
wouldn't have
he
that. I go for the dwarf
Yeah.
ones.
He
the
bought
smaller ones.
genuinely. He bought probably the best queen angel I've handled in my total career.
It was
Yeah.
tiny,
It was
wasn't
odd. It was an odd one. It had so much blue around the
Beautiful.
chin. Normally they just have it around the
Yeah.
head area, but it had it all around the chin. It's just stunning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's about 7-8 inches now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'd
I
say
think it goes
that-
to about a foot.
Michael's queen angel
Yeah.
and Drippy's regal.
Yeah, because he loves angels.
Oh, he's
doesn't he?
regal angel.
Yeah.
He's got his tank red regal. Oh my god, that's an amazing fish.
Yeah.
yeah.
There you go. Look, have to use soft corals for me.
Very
Have
true.
to use carbon for the warfare. Yeah.
You've always said
Or
that.
at least in my experience. Now, I took your advice. I had the problems with the alkalinity, and
Yeah.
my Goniopora just went to a golf ball.
Mm.
First thing I thought about was I put it was a Goniopora from a different tank in there, and 2 weeks later. So I put some carbon in. So I put the carbon in there, got the outsort, and now it's coming back. So I've never had a Goniopora when it's gone to a golf ball and never come back.
Mm.
Not that I've kept
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
They usually, once they look like they're going, they go. Don't
Mm.
they? And now the polyps are about a
What,
centimetre.
since you took the carbon out,
No,
or
well, I
in?
put the carbon in, and then I took the carbon out after about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So whether that helps or not, I could. Honestly, I don't.
Did you notice the more polyps were better once the carbon was
Yes.
removed? Because I've always
So I
said,
wondered. So I put it in there. 'cause
two
it might have been
things.
warfare.
Yeah.
But I wonder if the carbon was the thing that caused the
yes,
problem.
I think it is
Yes,
because
yeah.
all right. So Corey, I think will back me up on this. When you use activated carbon, it's quite. I mean,
So-
don't get me wrong. It's like
Yeah.
you don't not have to use it, but you have to be
Yeah.
careful with it.
Yeah.
Right, because I believe it'll probably along with also phosphate removers. We're talking about removing manganese and iodine and a lot of micro traces.
And
barium
manganese, don't they?
And in fact, something I learned off of Stefan Batu sometimes on the channel as well. He never ever uses phosphate remover.
Yeah. I don't.
He would rather do water changes until he got his phosphate down than use a heavy, powerful phosphate remover. He's very particular about it. But I first discovered the idea that carbon may influence Goniopora with red Goniopora. And
this one is a ready.
Yeah,
and I got it from Stefan actually.
Yeah, and funny enough, when I always found that when carbon was present, Goniopora would tend to suffer. I don't think the carbon has direct effect on the Goniopora.
Takes something out of the water, which upsets the balance of what they consume.
Yeah, it's funny you're saying that because I think Corey's actually touching on the same subject as well. Because this is what Dad and I have often said about using carbon over and over again.
Yeah,
and we believe that it maybe reduces or takes out some vital trace elements.
Yeah,
if you use it a lot.
Yeah, and I've got to say on the small tank. I mean, I use on the bigger tank. I use the Red Sea, and I use all three from the smaller tank. And I think with all for reef, the thing that wins for me on that is the minor elements, the topping up of that.
Yeah, you got the
I don't buy the fact that everything's in balance.
Yeah,
because the Peninsula tank, I'm dosing magnesium as well. Because I've got Goniopora and I've got other LPS like torches and alveopora. I think from the research like that, you'd be able. I think they consume a bit more magnesium.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
because it's full of those, and Bernard Pora. I've got all of those ones in there. So I'm now dosing magnesium.
Julian Sprung, right? Julian Sprung said this a long time ago. If you're going to use activated carbon, you've got to be disciplined with it. You use less of it, but you must be disciplined with it.
What you mean?
So use a tiny little amount, but you change it more, change it frequently. Yeah. Because otherwise you can also change the light levels, the DOCs. There's a lot of stuff that we can't see. And I know Salim from Reef Builders recently been talking about using activated carbon a little bit more than you know, he's sort of encouraging the idea of it again. But
really?
I think
but in moderation.
But I think it's
small doses, but regular changing, so you don't deplete it and then you shock it. A bit like rower flush.
Absolutely, rower.
You have a bigger tank, you have more than one reactor, and you change it, otherwise you can shock it, especially the SPS.
Absolutely.
It's funny, actually, you're just saying that, and Corey it's just said the same thing.
See, Corey's going on about vitamins, right? Now that's not something that I've really focused on. Vitamins, minor trace elements always have, but that might be something in that. Can you go back to that comment?
So in the trace elements that we have, do they have vitamins in there? Or are they purely your normal chemicals like your strontium and manganese and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Is there an off-the-shelf vitamin?
And
well, there probably is actually. I mean, I know Bright will do a few, and I'm pretty sure that there'll be other brands out there. NIOS possibly do it, but
I don't say do that. I don't know. It's not something I've really seen in any comments or any videos.
Yeah, we did used to have supplements. We did used to have them certainly, and I used to sell vitamin C supplements and things like that by Kent Marine years ago.
Oh,
and
really? I was always Kent Marine. That's going back.
You know what? Actually, on that subject, company-wise. Oh my god, hang on, brain dead moment. Reef Elements do one, Vita Plus.
Do they really?
They do a Vita Plus supplement.
There you go. No,
and that's
that
really, nice. A slight caveat.
Should we move on to that?
I think we should actually.
Yes, let's do that, and then we'll come back to the comments. So do that one, and then we'll do the comments, and then come back to the other stuff.
I know on the old Reefers Network they mentioned it the other day because Ian's on there the other day talking about this, and everywhere we're looking at the minute. These NIOS products have just come out, folks, and Corey sent me a sample of this a long time ago, and I never really. This must be around about 16 months ago. I know Corey's been working on this for about 2 years, and Corey tonight for the first time we did test this out. As I mean, I've tested it before, but as the branded bottle, I gave it to a member of staff tonight. Because we were dipping clove polyps, wild clove polyps that have just arrived, and boy, the amount of nudibranchs that you'll find in clove polyps. There's a lot of ones with they're more of a smoother looking nudibranch than the usual completely frilly looking ones.
Yeah.
But around about 4 came off of one colony.
So do you think that'd be all right for chalice? Because I don't tend to dip chalice because I find if I dip chalice, they lose their
do.
And a rainbow, I wouldn't go anywhere near a dip.
Yeah, I don't
I'd be
think
too
you should.
scared.
I don't really think it's absolutely necessary sometimes to be dipping the life out.
Well,
of
I always
everything,
take the
but-
chalice off of any kind of frag plug, so and you can usually look underneath.
Yeah.
And you can see it, 'cause it's usually a lighter colour, isn't it?
I would be
Basically, you
more
can see.
inclined with species like echinophilia and stuff like that to use a magnifying glass, a worn toothbrush.
I do scrub
Yeah,
the
like,
chalices,
I
because they
always-
can usually take
I
that.
always say, don't ever throw away your used toothbrushes.
No, I use it to clean
because the softer they
glass.
are, they're really good for just doing that light cleaning.
Yeah.
So I think certain species like echinophilia, I've never really come across any serious pests relating to that species. And certainly things like jack-o'-lantern, for example.
Yeah.
I know that when we dip, because the rules are rules, so the staff have to follow a procedure here. And I know that when we move jack-o'-lantern from the farm into sales area, and have to go through everything has to go by a dip to keep our biosecurity right. And then they lose all the colour immediately. Yeah. So as I said, sometimes, and that was using a potassium chloride, which is
a soft one, isn't it?
which is actually soft on the coral.
Yeah.
So I don't believe you have to dip the life out of everything, but I do think that particularly things that you wouldn't imagine, like clove polyps. Clove polyps are absolutely rammed, I find, wild ones with pests. You know, and that's really a lot of the reason. Even barium and clavularia and xenia, you know, star polyps and things like that, we're certainly finding a lot of things that I perhaps never used to see. So I found not that long ago on a GSP, a star polyp, a tiny little nudibranch, I would say no bigger than 4 or 5 mil, that had fluorescent green appendages across its back. You would never have known it.
Really?
They're so sometimes I do think it's worth, but as I said, I tried this out earlier. It's very pungent. It's got a really strong smell. This has like a sort of because I believe there's a nice thing about Niles is they don't hide what's in the bottle.
Oh, so that's what it says.
So you can tell what's in it. So for example, it's like a lot of it is based on essential oils, but it is rather strong. I would suggest that you have a window open when you use it. Yeah, it's got like
very botanical.
It's a botanical.
Smells like spark, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Actually, thanks, Corey.
I think you could use it in your jacuzzi.
Yeah, that's it, in a bubble bath.
Yeah. Brilliant. But no, I thought it was actually pretty effective. Me and Dan are going to try a test. We're going to try a test tomorrow because we've always got a few Astorina knocking about.
What to see?
Because Astorinas, no matter what dip you do, they're bulletproof for everything. So we're going to see how long it takes to kill Astorinas. We use 10 mil per litre tonight on those clove polyps. There is a lower dose. There's a 5 mil.
So you could go lower.
Yeah, because
so was that the full concentration?
The way it says it says here, because it also helps with new acropora and flatworm as well on it. But one of the things I found was that there was that's it. A standard dosage is 10 mil per litre. Flatworms only 5 mil per litre. So if you're dipping for planaria, which could, I mean, everyone gets planaria at some point. Nudibranchs, they're saying 12 mil per litre. So a little bit stronger for nudibranchs, but for flatworms. So to give you an idea, this is $19.99, which is what I wanted to tell people, because a lot of coral dips are quite expensive, didn't they?
And to be fair, that lasts a long time. Unless you're doing a lot of coral.
Well, that's what I mean. This one,
10 mil
so like 10, if you was just dipping for flatworms, so 5 mil per litre, and there's what 250.
That's a 250 mil bottle.
250 mils. So it's quite cost effective. It goes quite a long way. So I thought that was good. And this one, then,
that's what Corey's on about.
Corey's on about this. Now, I didn't know this had vitamins in it. Oh, yes, it does.
It kills Astorina.
No, look, that's confident.
Right. Okay. Well, Corey, we'll test it out tomorrow. Yeah, we'll give it a go.
There you go. There's some ideas here. One for Valentine's Day.
If it's got essential oils in,
actually, and it smells like Drippy's cologne. There you go.
I can treat Ange to the bottle of this.
You smell like Drippy.
Yeah, I'll try. I can treat Ange for a date night. I'll get her a bottle of that.
Brilliant. You have people coming in for fragrance.
This is it.
But yeah, this is Amia. I don't know how you say it.
It's amino. It's amino, isn't it?
Is it amino?
Amino with a Y
instead of an I.
Stylish. I would have said amino.
That's because you're weird.
Amino.
I think amino.
Amino. Corey, tell us what it is, please.
Amino. Amino has got in it amino acids, vitamins, and carbohydrates. So it's got potatoes in it.
Potatoes.
Vitamin
For you,
C.
it smell like a spud. Is that what you're saying?
And it's got acid in it. It takes me back to my warehouse days. Yeah.
So spuds and acid. I tell you, you better stop that. You're not selling it anymore.
This one, I actually did test both these out. They were given to me when I went to see Corey at Vivarium, and he gave me a couple of bottles of this before anyone had it, I believe.
Interesting.
And I used this on the new farm to grow some, grow a little bit of phosphate with this one. As well, because at the time I was starving out. This one is just like a natural plankton type thing, but it's really red. But what I found, what was different about this was it stayed in suspension. So it stayed in the water column. Yeah, it was sort of floating around in the water. Which is quite good, otherwise you'd end up losing a lot of it, don't you? Yeah. So so anyway, good new range coming out, and I believe that we're expecting all of the salts, their version of the dosing compounds. They're coming soon. Nice. But one of the interesting ones is one that Connor's reading it,
actually. This is the biotic. So this is actually Corey's Nios's probiotic bacteria. So by the sounds of it, it's just a probiotic bacteria that you hydrate and then add to your system. They're saying that apparently it helps with better polyp expansion and coral vitality, and it's also super concentrated with a low dosage. So to give you an idea, this is the larger of the two pots they sell, and this is $64.99. But the dosage is 1 gram per 100 litres daily for 3 to 5 days.
I'm guessing.
And then you lower the dosage as you go.
I'm guessing that sort of resets the balance if you were suffering. Like I wonder whether that would sort of help with somewhat with even things like if you've got, I know it's a completely different subject, but whether if you were resetting the balance, it might even help with something maybe like a dinoflagellate situation or something like that.
Because I think what helped me is when I went to Zeovit and started dosing, because I've used Zeovit years ago. So I've done the bacteria.
The Y is for Nios.
So I think you're right in terms of that bacteria could help. Because I think you build the bacteria up and then that outcompetes the. That's what I found.
I know that it also mentions on there about it can help lower nitrate and phosphate if you.
It says no phosphate increase.
No, it can help control it and lower it. And I'll tell you what, I think that's similar to Corey. I hate me for this, but sorry, Corey. But I think I first came across this type of probiotic bacteria in Benny Pets.
I was going to suggest this.
Anyone who's used Benny Pets out there, because I remember, I'll never forget when Benny Pets came out, I was making big jugs of solution up and pouring it in there. And all the staff were complaining because they were saying they're going to have to change all the Rowaphos tomorrow. And I went, no, you won't. Yeah. And sure enough, if you use a lot of that, Benny Pets, or this type of probiotic bacteria.
Here you go. We can't write it, but it stops some types of STN and RTN. If you have these issues, I would recommend. So what he's saying is legally you can't put it on the instructions, but he recommends that if people are struggling with STN or RTN,
it helps with bacteria till it builds up the slime coat or whatever.
So if this one is amino, is this one biotic?
Corey, help. I'm trying to educate
you know what, Paul? I think that's a really good observation.
I don't encourage him.
Anyway, new products from Nios, I think they're going to do really well. And I think the reason why they're going to do really well is that everyone's a bit short of cash here and there at the minute.
Yeah, they're cost effective.
And I think they're very cost effective. And I think that, and there's something else I'll say. I know he's in the chat, but I'll say it how it is, whether he was or he weren't. The thing I noticed about Nios is that they're all very passionate hobbyists like us.
Yeah, they are.
And it's exactly the same. They're not just people punting out bottles of gear. I know, for example, salt, I believe nearly 10 years went in development salt, which meant they hadn't earned any money off of it. Yeah. With Corey on and 2 years on it, nothing rushed out to market without them trying it out. And of course, Nios's sister company, White Corals.
Yes.
So a good chance to these products before they wider world.
Yes, which is a massive sense.
Yeah, very, very good. I'm quite pleased.
Thank you, Corey. I appreciate the phonetics.
Light red. I thought it was liquid red.
It is.
Liquid.
It stands for liquids. It's a play on words.
All right,
Funny.
Corey, next time you're doing your marketing on naming, just have a word.
Yeah,
and
have
I'll
a
help
word
you
with
out.
Paul.
Ignore him.
Right.
I like it.
Let's
Corey.
go through a few more
Yeah,
comments.
go on in.
So this one, small tanks are easier than ever. I found I was running the small tank like I ran the big tank, and that was a big mistake. I've had to adjust how I maintain the tanks and stuff like that. So I found it a lot easier now. Once I realised I couldn't run it like I did a 450 litre.
In other words, you couldn't do quite chunky water changes.
So I do a 5 litre, a 5 litre, and a 10 litre.
Yeah.
Until recently, I wasn't dosing, so purely on the water changes. So I just found things like that, little and often on things on the smaller tank.
Yeah,
it's easy, but you have to do it more often. Yeah, and I found that has worked.
Well, it's a
so
smaller volume of water, isn't it?
Yeah,
so it takes a lot less to affect it, both positively and negatively.
So so I think they are easier now because of the research and everything, and all the kit and everything you need to do. But I think it's very different to running a bigger. That's how I found it anyway. In the 2 years I've done it, so it's not long. And I would say high flow, and have seen them look and grow much better in lower nutrients. So the dirty water myth isn't true. I think that's related to soft corals, because that's the conversation now.
Yeah.
Oh, what's this? I will send on Facebook to you. Custom on board heats it.
Oh, that's the 1.7.
The 1.7.
Yeah,
right.
Actually,
I did see a picture once.
I think is it Paul? I believe he's Polymate 3D. He's just sent some
Paul
bits over to us on our Facebook.
Yeah, we'll have a look at that.
We'll have a look tomorrow.
Rob's tank is 70
centimeters
deep.
So just like Steve.
Yeah.
So just like Steve's tank, more or less. He's 75, Steve, but like, that's 70
centimeters front to back. It's similar to the DT, actually. Yeah.
What's this? Interesting. Thanks for sharing your
about
experience
the,
as always.
carbon.
Yeah.
We've
done with
carbon.
we've just done that one, haven't we?
IDOC's about done that
and
one.
I use half the recommended, or even less, by changing it bi-weekly.
That's carbon.
Food should contain vitamins.
Yeah, should actually.
Great product actually that we sometimes sell in store is I think Tropic Marine do a couple. They do lipo garlic, which obviously is a garlic and
Immunovit.
And Immunovit, is another one, which is a vitamin supplement. So there are,
like Rob says, in most foods, whether you're feeding your fish or whatever, there's going to be vitamins present already.
Yes.
Particularly on some good quality flake foods and pellet foods, there will be certainly.
Fizzy vitamin C.
What you mean is the tablets?
I think it's because JB, is it? So does that mean I have to float a vitamin gummy in my tank?
It depends what sort of gummies you mean.
Vitamins.
Oh, Peter, hi Peter, how you doing?
Pete.
Carbon should only be used for contaminants, not for clarity. Strips too much from balance system. No C's are crystal clear. Yeah, absolutely. Right, let's come down. So Simon, I use 50 grams of carbon.
Hi, Simon,
how you doing? 100 litre. Setup I got from you. Change it every 21 days.
There you go. See,
no effect to any ICPs I've done.
That is what I mean about being disciplined. If you use carbon, that's the way to
21 days. How specific?
Yeah, it's so.
Love it.
Yes, you have to be very disciplined, because if what Julian Sprung meant was, if you use carbon heavy and you've made all your water crystal, all your corals adapt to that. Then all of a sudden, as that carbon wears out, and don't forget, carbon has the ability to, once it's reached super saturation, it can dump a lot of stuff back into your system. Yes, it's not very.
So it pulls it all out, and then it dumps.
Well, there are carbons like years ago that they were marketed on the fact whether they were highly retentive or not, meaning they're going to keep hold of it.
Yeah.
But most carbon will sort of re-release some of those compounds if you don't change it,
because it doesn't have the ability to hold on to what it's
the interesting thing as well that many people don't realize, the activated carbon, if it is old, it's actually a really good biofilter. It's so porous it becomes a really good biofilter. And of course, if you let it overrun, say 4 to 6 weeks, by which point aerobic bacteria is growing on it. So you're almost destroying a part of your body. So you're making not only the changes with the activated carbon, even losing its ability to, but you're also impacting the bacterial balance as well. So basically, you can't use carbon and be lazy, is what I'm trying to make a point.
Okay. And then Michael, what minor elements do soft
iodine
massively.
Iodine for me is one of the most fundamental things with soft corals, without a doubt.
Really?
Yeah.
So you would usually dose.
I dose. I dose Lugals on the system.
To me, day one. The pulsing xenia is massive, isn't it?
Yeah, iodine, pulsing xenia will take out. Pulsing xenia will take out huge amounts of iodine.
Which was baffling.
And also, did take out quite a lot of nitrates and phosphates.
You can do. I actually used to have in my old brick-built shed when I used to have one at home, where I was growing stony corals. I had a very thin tank that was brightly lit by metal paint.
Yeah,
and I had it, instead of people having, like nowadays people have algae beds, I had a pulse coral bed.
Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah,
it's all over.
That's a good natural way.
It really grows so fast.
And you had it separate so they won't detach and then go around the rest of the tank.
Absolutely.
Even if you put it on an island, they still have a habit of detaching, don't they? Right.
Not enough love is given to pulse coral.
I think they love it.
People hate it a lot.
My
But
first
I
ever
love
coral.
it. Yeah,
I think it's because it's invasive, isn't it? I mean,
it's like anything. It's a weed, which is a flower in the wrong place.
But it's only a weed. I always find with hobbyists is that when they grow something profusely, they see it as a weed.
It's not.
But the reality
is, that's what we hear from gardeners as well.
It's the success that you're having, you know.
They are lovely when you see when you turn off the power heads and they're just there. Motion, the stem
just needs to be put in the right tank.
Yeah,
you know, like bubble tips.
They do like a lot of nutrients, don't they? Right. Let's have a look here, guys. With a soft coral only tank, would the corals benefit from more or the white light rather than the washed blue?
Yes, white light. And that, one of the reasons why I think it's so successful with soft corals is that I always tune that spectrum back to what I remember, which is about 14K, 12 to 14K. Only, I would say 99% of soft corals will prefer a more natural white light. They don't seem to do so well under blues. You can have some blue in it,
well, you know, but ramp up,
you can have the ramp up, but give them a balanced spectrum. They're often found in sort of like up to 10 meters in beauty. And I'm talking about those ones like the classics, like the toadstools, and Signularia and species like that, often found in around up to about 10 to 15 meters. Of course, below that, we might be looking at more MPS soft corals with different ball game, but I would say they definitely benefit from a brighter white spectrum.
And then, yes, I'm really proud of the product. I don't get anything from promoting them, but I was a coral farmer and hobbyist. I just think everyone should use them.
Yeah,
absolutely. And then there's someone saying you should have an AAC custom.
Well, it's funny because I did nearly work with a supplier and was going to develop the first ever RAS frozen food, but it's never actually took off. But I have been looking at a frozen food specifically for RAS.
So that'd be smaller particles or different.
Mum's the word.
You don't want to say anything, right? Okay, that's fair enough. Okay.
Even I don't know about this.
Right.
I was actually talking to BC UK.
Yeah, I know about the conversation. I don't know what it was. Yeah, I didn't know it was a RAS food, but yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we'll pull to the limit, and then once the water is better, and the carbon it struggles to hold it.
That's true. Yeah.
We always better for acting on what we see than do. Most of our hobby relies on what we cannot see. Yeah, absolutely. And then we've got here, and leaching from carbon is a whole other problem. We did MS tests over the course of a week from different carbons. Cocoa carbon leaches, high phosphate and charcoal silica, and very often barium.
Interesting.
So what's MS tests?
I believe that is
the ultimate ICP.
It's the really expensive one.
So I think
I've heard of that. Was that when it looks at the bacteria?
No, it's something completely different. No, what it is that you've got the OS machine, which I think new are about $250,000. I think you can buy second-hand for a bit less. But I think an MS machine is absolute fortune.
Yes.
An MS machine is the ultimate machine. The MS.
So the accuracy.
However, I am told that the MS measures the minor elements better.
Yeah. And
the OS measures the majors, but I could have got that round the wrong way.
Okay.
So having two. So Triton, when Triton first came on the scene, they had both machines. Red Sea was the first aquatic company, I believe, that ever owned an MS machine.
Their salts ICP.
They used it on their salt.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Well, they would refuse to do hobbyist.
Yeah, tests. They believe that we shouldn't.
They believe that we shouldn't be doing them at Red Sea. They say that it's down to. I mean, obviously, machines have changed since this information was released. So back then, when you wanted to do a test on an ICP, between every test, it should be calibrated. nowadays, I'm assuming that a lot of the ICP machines are much quicker and easier to calibrate than they used to be. But I do believe the first ICP machines were £1 million plus.
That's a lot of money to sink, isn't it?
Yeah.
I said 100%. My tank's running at 13k, and the soft cobbles are more.
Right. Yeah.
Right, and then we've got one last comment, and then I think it's
I think we're
home time. The effect of carbon on larger trace elements wasn't that crazy.
Of course, iodine was reduced the biggest effect.
Iodine was reduced.
So the really minor trace elements is the thing they noticed the most.
Well, see, now that's interesting because Goniopora often come. A lot of the Goniopora we see and love are often Indonesian in origin.
Yeah,
and of course, a lot of these Indonesian islands are volcanic. And there are pictures, dive pictures, muck dive pictures, where the sand is like black and it's dirty, the substrate, and you've got a bright green fluorescent light.
And you must pop even more if you've got black as the background.
So in the region, a lot of these Goniopora collected, there's bound to be a lot more traces of these metals present. And it could be that activated carbon and GFO
takes that out.
Are pulling these out, and in turn that's causing the problem.
Right, I think we're done. Thank you everyone for joining us.
Thank you very much for joining us, everyone. I hope that was fun and
informative.
I think next time we'll probably return back. This time was about because we had March and we didn't have any hobbyists in the audience. But like we said before, if anyone fancies joining us,
another friendly reminder from the North Reef.
You nearly got away with it.
I think he wants to go to this one. I think
you nearly got away with it.
I know. Where are we? So at the moment, we are going to talk about potentially do something for Love to Reef. If we do it, it'll be in May. And if we did it, it would be around about the weekend of the 17th. If we did it, it would be then, because that's the same week as last year. And it's a good week.
Weather-wise, isn't it?
Weather-wise, it's good.
Usually
you don't think of that, but when you've got corals in there, you don't want it too hot, you don't want it too cold. So it's actually quite nice from a weather perspective. And it just seems to be a good time to do it. And I'm free that weekend as well.
I've
got no football that weekend.
But I think the other thing to like something that you know when we were speaking early days about Love to Reef, because I didn't really want to do the vendor show thing, did I anymore? And I think what people have got to realise is that it's a lot of pressure, it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of, and of course, if you're trying to run your job or a business on
so I've got the job and also got the building work that's going on at the moment.
I mean, so it's not in stone yet.
No, it's not. I'm looking to see what could we do and what would that look like, and how can we do it and reduce the effort that it took last year to do it.
We have spoke about some new ideas. We won't talk about them yet, will we? But
so if something was to go ahead, it could well be on the 17th of May. What
I would suggest is
give us another 17 days.
Can everybody keep pelting Paul on Instagram with messages about Love to Reef, and then
I've been getting them through the website.
I was going to say, he mentioned earlier the website is still up and running, so just go on to the Love to Reef website. And
so we'll see.
So
we're talking at the moment, aren't we? And see how we could shape it, and then.
And of course, we've still got to talk to my landlady and all.
Yes, the hall's free, amongst other things. And if we have any vendors, are they free? So there's a lot to do. We've got to say yes. And if we say yes, who do we get there? But we will see.
Oh, God.
A closing comment. Look at that.
Comment.
Right at the last knock-ins.
Parents' evening. Teacher.
Yeah.
Right, on that note.
Yeah, thanks, Jay.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
We'll catch you soon, hopefully.
Absolutely.
See you later.
Bye for now.
Bye.